And we can start. Well, hello everybody. I'm going to put the volume of the music a bit lower. Okay, so yeah, let's continue with the exploration of data in the block editor with the package WordPress Data. There are several sessions so far that we've done about this package. So let me find, because there's a playlist here in my channel. If we go to streams, no, if we go to playlists, there is a playlist called WordPress Data Series. Okay, I want to, yeah. So I'm going to share this in the, chat. So you have available all the other sessions that we've done about this package, the WordPress data package, and also we have a repository that I'm also going to share in the chat, where you have all the information of these sessions, the first one, second one, and part 3. So we are going to continue with the project from where we left last session. Just a reminder that what we are doing is this project. There is a project that is really cool in learn.wordpress.org called using the WordPress Data Layer. Let's see if internet. Okay, so this is the project. Let me log in here so we can see the lessons inside. And if there's also, okay, so I'm going to, let me do some preparation here. Okay, So the project is here. I have shared in the chat the URL of this project of this code that is available in this repository, which is published on GitHub. So this is the code that we have done so far for this project. Let me log in. And we can start. There's also this diagram that we replace my content. Okay, this is the diagram we have been using to explain the different ideas around the WordPress data layer, action, selectors. So very quickly, I'm going to review these ideas because we have talked about them in the previous sessions. But very quickly, we have in WordPress, we have a thing that is called the WordPress Data Layer, which allows us to, so in the block editor is the place where the state of the block editor is centralized. So all the things that you see in the block editor responds to an information that is stored in the WordPress data layer. So there are like different stores, and the block editor is continuously checking that store. And every time that information changes, the block editor reacts, because the block editor is just a big React application. So the stores are Redux stores, although it's an opinionated version of these Redux stores, and we have different stores. So let me see if we can quickly launch a WordPress installation. We can leverage Playground, because I want to show you what I mean by stores. So if we have here Redux, if we go to the block editor, for example, here we can see all these stores. So each item here would be one of these boxes. So we have the core store, the blocks store. As you can see, we have the blocks store, the core store, patterns, viewport. For example, viewport contains, for example, here. Let me see if is this viewport or is the interface. Yeah. So every time I change, for example, every time I hide or show this, like this part of the editor, there is a change in the state of this store, and the React application reacts by displaying or hiding this specific section. So everything that happens in the block editor, there is a change in this internal store. So the block editor is accessing the information in these stores and is getting information. And in order to do that, it uses selectors of specific stores. So every store has defined a set of selectors that we can use to get information from there. But also there are some actions we can dispatch to change the information there, like to update the state of that store. So through these stores, all the information is centralized, but also these stores communicate with the REST API. And it's one of the most convenient ways to communicate with the REST API, because if we get information from the data layer or update information using the data layer, we have available two important features, two important characteristics. For example, when we request information from the REST API, there is a security measure that is called nonsense. Nonsense is like a code that is written from the source of the request, and once that request gets to the server checks checks that the request is secure. It provides from a source that can be trusted. So the API fetch is the package that implements this, like the creation of the nonces and the sending the nonce in the request. But this is implemented internally by the data layer, so we don't have to worry about that. Every request we do through the data layer will have all these security measures internally, so we don't have to worry about that. But also there is a cache implemented that is really handy, because whenever we request information that is not in the store, the data layer will trigger a request to the server and we'll receive that information from the server, but it will cache that information. So the second time that same information is requested, there won't be any more requests to the server, because the information will be get from the cache. And then we have used in the project we've been working on, we have used like several selectors and actions. For example, we have used for the core store the selector get entity record, for example, to get information about entities like pages, posts, and categories, tags. So to get, for example, pages, we can get information about a specific page using the get entity record selector, but we can also edit that information. And with the edition, there is a thing that happens internally in the store, because when we edit a specific entity, that new value is temporarily available through the get edited entity record, but that information is not persisted. That means it's not saved in the database. If we want to persist that information, we need to use save edited entity record. So we can access that new value directly with get entity record. And then there are other selectors to check if that information has been modified or not. We talked about this in the last session, so I'm not going to go into more details here. But yeah, I want to highlight the idea of selectors to get information and actions to modify the information that is in the state. Okay, so we have this here, and then if we come here, let's check the lessons. I think that we only have the last one left, the last one pending. Six of 6. Deleting WordPress data record, creating new WordPress data records. Yeah, we did all of this. So let me check. I'm going to use Studio. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to, let me see. So we have here Studio. I have a demo website that I'm going to open with the terminal. And here, let's check. Okay, these are the plugins that I have. So we have our current project in the folder projects. We have it here is the WP Data Layer. So I'm going to take this, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here. And then I'm going to create a symlink to this project so we can work directly in the streams project, which I will commit and push to the remote repository on GitHub. But locally, I want to see the changes in my local studio project. So what I can do is ln this project, and I'm going to call it the same. I'm going to so this is a symlink, and now we can see these special links here, which means that for this project there will be a folder called WP Data Layer App Pages, but internally there is like a link to another place in my computer. But why do I want to do this? Because now if we come here to WP admin, I need to start the okay, it's starting. Okay. So it's starting, and then we will see the plugin installed. So if we come here to plugins, we should see the okay, let me see. Yeah, we should see this plugin, which we can activate. And that will create a new menu option. And this is what we have so far. So we are creating a React application that interacts with the WordPress data layer to add some behavior to our application, which consists in, for example, listing the current pages. So for example, I only have one page right now, but I have only one page right now, but I can create new ones. So I'm going to create contact page and about no. I'm going to create contact, no, blocks. Contact page, publish. And also about contact projects, for example. Okay, so those are the pages that we have created, and now we should see them in the React application. We should see them here. We can edit these pages. So this is interesting because we only save. So the save button is only available when there's new data. So we save, and now we can see this. And actually, if we go to pages, this has also changed because the change has been persisted. So let's review a little bit the code, and let's continue from where we left the code last time. So we have here, very quickly, we have an index. So we created in our plugin, we created a menu option with an ID here. In this ID, we are injecting our React application, which starts here, but this index.js is bundled in a build. So we are, if we go to cd projects data, we can run the start, and that will create the build of our application. And this is the file that we are enqueuing in the front end. So if we come here, build index, this is the one that we are enqueuing. And we are also enqueuing some styles, these ones. Okay. So our process, npm start or npm run build, we also talked about this in the other sessions, is taking all the imports that we are using in our application, import app. So then app also imports a button create page, and button create page also import a page form create. So our bundled is compiling all these imports and is generating a unique file here, which is the one we are seeing here. Okay. And let's review a little bit the application. So in the index, we are injecting our React application in WP Data Layer app pages, which is the ID. Is the ID we have created here, and is the ID that is available here as well. Where is it? Here. So here's our React application. Then we have the app, which uses, as we can see, it uses some selectors. For example, get entity records. We get all the pages, so we pass as arguments of the selector the kind, like the type of entity, the specific entity name, and some optional queries. So this selector allows us to get a list of the pages that are available for the WordPress installation. And this core data store is the store. Is the store we mentioned, like the core store, but there are other ones. And then we also have has finished resolution. So we can ask, but the first time we ask for this information, there is going to be a resolver. There is going to be a request to the REST API. So we can also ask about that request, and we can check whether the information has been received or not. And this is interesting because we can use this has result here that we pass to pages list. To pages list, we can use it to show a spinner. So when the request is in process, we show a spinner, and when the request has finished, we hide the spinner. Okay, and what else? Then we have used use select, which is a hook that allows us to subscribe to the changes in the store. So every time there is a change that affects these properties we are returning, this hook will be triggered again, and those properties will be returned automatically, and that will provoke the React component to be re-rendered again. So we have the selectors, we have the use select. Then we use some other React components, like for example, search control, which is a component we get directly from the WordPress components. And remember that we have all these components available in the Storybook. So if we go to block editor, we can see here somewhere, the Storybook, that is it's a place where we have documented all the components we can use in our React applications. But also we can use custom React components like button, create page, and pages list. So button, create page, if we go to our application, which is here, is this one, button, create page, which displays a modal with a form. So let's check button, create page. It imports page form create. It also imports modal, and that modal is this effect we are seeing here. And inside